Number 26, Harrison Macreadie. A guy, I don't really have too much to say about him because I haven't really seen much of him play. He had a pretty decent crack at it in 2017, and the emergence of himself and guys like Tom Williamson, it gave us some hope and some excitement for the future. And unfortunately, his 2018 was pretty hampered with injury, and so was his 2019. And I mean, he did play quite a bit towards the back end of the season in the VFL, and unfortunately just wasn't able to perform at the level needed to rise up to the AFL side. And that's probably where it's one of those seasons, in my opinion, for Harrison, where you've got to show something, in 2020, because you put yourself at risk at the end of the season of either being traded or delisted or whatnot. And, it's one of those realities that footballers face. And, I mean, I still think there is some time for him. He's still very young. So it's not by any means a make or break, but I mean, we probably want to see him play games this year, and in order to play games, he's going to have to really elevate himself. And I mean, if you have a gameless 2020, then we're looking at the future, and there might be kids on the list that go ahead of him, and so that's where I find myself with him. We have a really deep backline as it is, and so it's obviously going to be very hard. So if he does perform pretty well in the VFL, which when you look at his profile, his age profile, his experience now, he's been in the system, you'd think that he'd be one of the better defenders if he's playing VFL for the majority of the year. And I think that's probably going to be the saving grace for him in 2020. Again, not knowing what type of role we're wanting him to play. The instructions are going to be coming from David Teague, and then he's going to have Josh Fraser giving instruction. And that can be a challenge as well, because you've got two different teams essentially that you're playing for and two different coaches. And although you want to be, I guess in an ideal world, you want both the AFL and the VFL sides to be playing a very similar brand of footy. In reality, is that what happens? I don't think so. But nevertheless, the VFL is there for him to develop and gain some form and some confidence. And, when you're on the list, that's what you're expected to do. So I do wish him all the best. I don't know where he fits into the side in 2020, the AFL side that is, but happy to be proven wrong about that. What about you? Have you seen anything of Harrison Macreadie maybe at training or towards the back end of the year last year that suggests that he's ready to jump back into that AFL side contention? Let me know in the comments below.